A very popular feature for the silhouette cutting machines is called print and cut. But before you can cut, you have to put an offset around the design. Want to find out how? Stick around. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me again on my channel. This is Susan with Blue Vinyl Stickers, and today I am going to go over some of the features of the print and cut with adding the offset to your design. So I just have to tell you, as usual, I am using the Silhouette Studio Business Edition. So if your buttons and icons are not in the exact same spot mine are, don't worry. You can always go over here to Edit or View or Panels and find just exactly what you need. So let's get started. So I have on the screen a blank work canvas. My goal is to create Halloween stickers. And to do that, I'm going to be printing and then cutting them out. But to do that, I need to place an offset or a cutting line around them so I have a nice clean sticker. So I'm going to go ahead and place 3 items on the screen here. Now I'm working with pumpkins. I thought these were cute. So I want to place an offset around these. Now if I just go and try to send these over to my machine to cut, this one will cut and it will cut out these, and that'll be fine. This will cut out these, but then it will cut, this is an individual, this is an individual, this is an individual. You kind of get it, okay? But I want this as a solid sticker. I want this as a solid sticker, and I want this to actually have an outline around it to have a little bit of the clear sticker paper that I will be using to show. So first thing I need to do is come over here to my page setup, and I need to put on my registration marks. Always just go to type 1, type 2 you don't need to worry about, type 1 for the Cameo, the Portrait, or the Curio. So just click on that and you see it puts on the registration marks. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to make that thickness as big as possible. We're going to bring the inset down. We're going to make the length as big as possible, and this is just to make sure that your cutting machine, the eye, the computer that tells it where to go, can actually see these lines. So I'm going to change it also to the size paper that I am going to be using, which is 8.5 by 11. Now I go to the current printer. So you have to have a printer installed in this. And so you just choose your current printer, and my current printer is 11 by 8.5, so 8.5 by 11. And I can't design sideways, so I'm going to design in portrait. And that's as easy as that is. You don't need to do anything else here. If you want to, you can say show the print border, and here is show the cut border. Show the cut border is a very useful tool when it comes to print and cut, because if you put a design that is here, and let me put that big so you can see it. Let me get over here so you can see it. Come on, computer, scroll down. All right. If you can see, there's 2 lines. There's a red one and there's a black one. If you put a design over here, it will print. Not a problem. But when it comes to cutting, it will cut no further than that red line. So you have to make sure that your design is inside of that red line. Simple, simple, simple. So here's what we're going to do. Excuse me. We're going to use this pumpkin right here and put that away. On my screen, as soon as you click this, the whole bunch of icons and functions come up here at the top. We want to use this one. It is called the Offset Select Shape, or you can come over here to your sidebar and click on this one. Now, if you click on this one up at the top, it will just automatically put your offset on there, and it will give you exactly what you've already pre-chosen and preset into the machine. Either way works. Since we don't have any corners per se, we'll just use rounded, and it's a good feature. If you want to do that, just automatically say apply. But it really doesn't do what I want it to. I want these lines here to be a little bit smoother, because when you go to cut this, especially if you're going to cut out stickers, you don't want your knife turning around in here and possibly causing this to lift or tear, or you want to get rid of these sharp corners. And all of this is just going to be printed. So what I'm going to do is come back and say out, 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 and say out, out, and we're going to get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to highlight it again, come over here to my side and click the offset. So I get the offset window. Okay, I'll put it over here where you can see it. I want an offset, which is an external offset, which means it's going to put it around the outside of each one of these shapes. So I click offset, and the distance is already preset in your machine at 0.125, which is basically 1/4 of an inch. Well, I want it a little bit bigger, but not much. So just go ahead and click, and as you can see, each one of these shapes still is outlined by itself. But where I'm concerned about is these 2 points right here. So I'm going to increase until I get something that is a little bit more pleasing, and then I'm going to say apply. Now watch what happens. Watch the pumpkin. There we go. So this will be my offset for the pumpkin. Now I could take and just make it a little bit smaller. And since the pumpkin is already grouped together, don't forget to group your pumpkin. And this does have to be a traced design to be able to do this. You cannot use just a picture. This has to be a traced design. This is actually a studio file that I actually did create. So highlight them both. Come over here to your transform window and click this button. This is the center button, and it will actually center that in there. So it made it just slightly smaller. Now, I think this is pretty good, and I think this is an acceptable trace. Now, I might, or excuse me, an acceptable outline for a cut. And so when I print this, now I want to group this. Don't forget to group it, or because if you don't, you're going to move things and it's going to stay around. This here is one solid. This is one solid. You want to hit your center, put them together, and hit group. Now, something you also want to think about before you hit group is this line color right here. Because if you have anything else in your design that you've already created that is that color, when you go over to the send button, you see how everything that has that color is going to cut, and you see how the inside pieces will also cut. Well, you don't want that. That's the point of having the offset, is so you don't get individual pieces. So you want to come back over here to your design. We're going to ungroup it and click on just the outside, okay? And we're going to make it some color that I know is not going to be in my design, like turquoise. And make sure it has 0. Okay, this is very important. Make sure the weight on this line is 0. And I'll tell you why in a second. So we're going to go ahead and hit combine and group. And so now when I send it over to my print, I choose line, and I'm going to unclick the red. And so the only color that I have that will cut on this one will be just that turquoise line, and that's exactly what I want. So let me go back over to the design. Now, I mentioned that your line has to be 0.00 point. When you print, your printer will not print anything that doesn't have any weight to it. Okay, there's no weight. There's no, as far as the printer is concerned, this line doesn't exist. So when you print, what you will be getting What you will be printing will be just this. This is what you will see when you print. But when you cut, this is what it will be cutting. It will be cutting that line. Okay, I hope that's kind of makes sense there. I'll show you the process here when we get when I print it, and then I will actually cut it for you. So let's go ahead and do this again. So this one, again, I want to make an offset, but the line is red, and I don't want to have to deal with this. So get rid of the line, okay? Get rid of the outline. So that's one way to do it, so you don't have to worry about different colors. So I'm going to click on it. It's already grouped together, and I'm going to hit offset. Okay, now this one is going to put little lines inside, and this one again has got some that might be acceptable, but I don't think so. So let me go back so I can get it active again. If you click on something while you are doing this, your offset here will disappear. So watch, okay? It's this, if I want to make it bigger for you, watch what happens. See? It all goes away. Okay, and you can't get that back. So we're going to go down and down, and we're going to get rid of that. Okay, now since I want to make it bigger so you can see it, you have to do that first. Then highlight it, then hit the offset. Now, we're going to make the offset a little bit bigger here to get rid of that line there, or that little divot. Okay, and you see in doing that, all of those lines in there these have gone because they've exceeded the size of the feature. So I'm going to say apply. Okay, and this, I still don't like this, but it's looks like it's going to have to be. Now this one, if you see, it's got those little, I guess you're going to call them eyeballs for anything else. So I don't want those. When the offset is created, it creates a compound path. So we're just going to right mouse click and say release the compound path. Okay, and so now I can come in here and highlight these and hit delete. This is still a compound path because it is closed, so I can't do anything with this. This is a closed path. So what I want to do is make it what? Turquoise, because the other one up here is turquoise. They're all going to be on the same sheet, so I want them all to be the same. So I put it back together, and I hit the center button. It centers it there for me, and like I did with the other one, it's a little too big for my taste, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and hit that. And to me, that looks acceptable. So I'm going to say group, and I'll fiddle with the sizes off camera here in a minute, but I'll make a whole sheet of these and show you what it's doing. I very rarely show you guys the live action, but I will show you the live action today. So again, with this one, like I said, this one was okay if I want to just cut it. If you want to do a kiss cut on this one, which means have it cut right around the edges without any background showing, those are difficult. Just simply because some machines are calibrated for it, some machines aren't, and I have a trick for that. You want to know what the trick is? Watch this. All right, I do apologize for that. I had a computer glitch all of a sudden. So let's see if I can pick up where I was. I want to go ahead and put an offset around this one. And for this one, I want to get it as close as possible to the outline of the pumpkin, called a kiss cut. Sometimes the kiss cuts can be a little off. And so you want to add a little bit of extra around the backside. So what I'm going to do, and let's see if I can do this. Now keep in mind, you see the lines back here? This particular design, these are transparent. So when I go to print this, um, naturally there won't be any color in here. But if I put a backing on here to for the kiss cut, as you'll see, then you won't be able to see the eyes. So it's a couple of different steps, a little complicated, but this is how I do it, and it seems to work. Now keep in mind, if you have a design that is all filled in with color and you cannot see your work surface through it, then you'll be fine. But if you have a design where you can actually see through the design, then you'll need to do this. Now this is perfect if you're going to cut this out of vinyl or HTV or on paper or whatever. You want these cutouts. This is just fine. But for a print and cut, you need to think about what is going to be printed. Now, the average household printer does not print in white. We want these in white or not to show. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to get rid of the color, because I need to see what's going on, and color it in black, it's a little difficult. So we're going to release the compound path, come in here, and we are just going to highlight the face, and I am going to color it in white. Now I don't know if you can see that that happened. Let me show you. Let me make something real quick to show you. Oh, come on. That it actually is colored in white. See, there's the colors. They're actually colored in white. And I've got this little dot down here that I noticed, so I'm just going to take that and highlight and get rid of it, because if you don't, it's going to throw everything else off. So as you can see, we've got these colored in white, and the rest of the pumpkin is just the same color. I'm going to take it, and we are going to group it. And I'm going to make it black. Now, because, let's go ahead and ungroup this. Because this is a full layer, watch what happens. Right mouse click and say send to the back. It's not, oh, because that's black as well. That was stupid. So watch, even I make stupid mistakes. So we're going to go ahead and, like I said, this has still got the white here. We're going to make this black, and we're going to send to back. And it still didn't work, because if you look, it's still probably, yep, it's grouped. Okay, so we got to go back here, and we've got to ungroup this design. Silly me. All right, ungroup the design here, but we want to group this design. Okay, hope that made sense. So we have released the compound path. We have grouped this and colored it white. The face is white. Okay, so right now, if it was to print, it would print white, or as most printers, it would print nothing there. So now I'm going to take and highlight the outside, and I'm going to make it black, and there you go. So now we're going to take and we're going to group this. So when I print this, this will cut, or this will print as this. And as you can see, you can't see the background anymore. Okay, so this will print as this. This is very important, because the next step is going to be making an offset. So let's make that offset again. Where'd it go? There it is. Let's make that offset. And as you can see, the offset didn't go in the lines here, which is perfect. That's just what I wanted, because this is all colored in. You can't see it. Anyways, it did make that offset. So I'm going to make this offset. Make sure I cut the offset only. And we're going to make it turquoise. But here's what it did. It colored it in because I hit the wrong one. So make sure you hit the line. Okay. Now, what I need to do again, and this is important, I'm going to hit offset again. On this one, I'm going to highlight that one, and I'm going to make it let's make it black. And then I'm going to fill it in. Okay? So I hope you can see this on your screen. This is an offset. This is an offset, and this is your design. So you're going to have 3 layers here. So let's put them back together. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to put them back together. And so when you print this design, it will print the offset as the black line. But when you go to cut this out, it will cut on the turquoise line. And so what you'll end up with is a pumpkin that looks like this. Okay, now that's for a regular sticker, and it will end up with it all black, and or it will look like this. Okay, it will look like that. Now, if you want to make this a kiss cut, let me go ahead and back up a couple. Whoa, look at all these steps. Okay. If you want to make this a kiss cut, where it is right next to the original lines, then you're going to have to go to the offset again. Go to the offset, but this time bring it in. Let's turn it turquoise so we can see it. We're going to bring it in. Okay, and that's going to cut right around the edges there. Okay, because our cut line, remember, is turquoise. And since I have that highlighted, I'm going to go to the offset window again and say offset. And there's the extra offset. And if you look at it, okay, we've got 3 layers again. So let me put them all back together. And this one, since it's black, I'm going to make it black. And when I go to cut it, it will cut on that turquoise line, and I will have basically a kiss cut. But if your machine is not calibrated and or jumps a little or something and is not exactly following the black outline, it is now cutting this here kind of makes it an insurance policy that when you do that cut, everything all the way to the edge will be black. It won't show any white, and you'll have a nice even cut. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video now and finish up the sheet that I'm going to be making. I will print it out and show you what it looks like when it's cutting and after it's cut. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, we are back, and unfortunately the camera that I decided to use for the video did not want to cooperate with me, and so I am just going to go ahead and show you some real quick photos to let you see exactly what I did. Now, remember how I said that the weight on the line around the sticker has to be 0, or else it would show. So here, the weight is 0 around here, and there is actually a line around there that will cut. There's the line that goes inside the pumpkin here. But unfortunately, I didn't catch this before I printed it. And this was actually set at 1, and so it printed it, which is what I didn't want. And when I did that, here it is after I printed it the second time. And it printed without the lines in it because I went in and took them out. But there is actually still those lines around there. So this is what happened. I had the machine was calibrated. It was calibrated perfect to what the settings are in the Silhouette software. And it still doesn't cut perfectly. So that's why you want to put this little bit of a cushion on the outside. And this is what the decal actually looked like after it was cut out. And you can see you've got that red line around the outside, which really isn't a pleasing look. It looks not right. So it's not a pleasing look. And so when I actually did go and cut them out, or cut this pumpkin out, I'll show you here in a second what this. So you had the lines around here. Remember? Had the lines around here. Let me see if I can find it, or if I put it in here. I don't think I put it in here. Let me try again. Here is what the sticker looked like after it was cut out. So I had that turquoise line, and the color just went all the way through. So even though I was off on the cuts up here, and I know I'd be off on the cuts here, it still provided me with a very nice all the way to the edge cut. So here's the original one that I did, and as you can see, I had red lines around here, I had red lines around here, I had red lines in every single one of these spider webs, and it just got past me. I just wasn't thinking when I did this one. And so I corrected it, and I ended up with this. And this is the final product. And this is perfectly cut, ready to go, ready to stick. So that's how you do a print and cut. Just make sure that you've got your offsets correct, and the line weight is at a 0, or you will end up with problems like this, and your decals or your stickers will end up looking like this. That's not pleasing to anybody. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. And bye for now.